Today our topic is dielectrics and polarization. And before going to discuss about the dielectrics and polarization, in last class I explained you about electrostatics of conductors. In electrostatics of conductors, electric field inside the conductor is zero. Always zero. That I explained you how it is zero. And the electric field, the potential. So when the electric field is zero inside the conductor, potential is constant. So the potential inside the conductor is constant, and which is equals to the on the surface of the conductor. And when we take the potential is constant on the surface, and that surface is the equipotential surface. From the equipotential surface of characteristics, we know that equipotential surface and the electric field are right angles to each other. It means the angle between them will be 90 degree. By taking the characteristic of equipotential surface, or in another way also I explained you how the electric field is normal to the surface of the conductor. And electrostatic shielding. So then in electrostatic shielding, experimentally we can see the electrostatic shielding. In that case, we place that electrical instruments, that sensitive electrical instruments inside the conductor, then it can protect from the influence of the electric field or the lightning, because electric field inside the conductor is zero. That I explained in a last class by taking the Faraday cage. And now the coming topic is that dielectrics and polarization. Then what is dielectrics? What is the function of the dielectrics? And this dielectric, based on the dielectrics, we have the concept, one of the topic in capacitors also. So here we should know about the dielectrics. And dielectrics is also known as the insulators. So we may call that insulators. It means that why we call the insulators, it doesn't allow the electricity, or it doesn't allow the heat. Such type of substances we call that dielectrics. And insulators, then why they kept the name of the insulators as dielectrics? Is there any difference between the insulators and the dielectrics? Definitely they have difference. What is the difference? The difference is that dielectrics cannot allow the electric field. It means the electric field can pass through the dielectrics, whereas the insulators cannot allow the electric field. That is the main difference of insulators and the dielectrics. So that they kept the name of those substances are dielectrics. In dielectrics, again we have that two types of dielectrics. Dielectrics. In dielectrics, we have two types of dielectrics. One is that polar dielectrics. And the second one is that non-polar dielectrics. polar dielectrics and non-polar dielectrics. So in that polar dielectrics, the molecules, we can call that polar molecules. In that polar molecules or in polar dielectrics, the positive charge and the negative charge both will be coincident. It means that in polar dielectrics, the positive charge and negative charge, they form a dipole, and that dipole will be in random position in polar dielectrics. And in the case of non-polar dielectrics, positive charge and the negative charge both coincide with each other, and the dipole moment is equal to 0. And if you draw the diagram of the non-polar dielectrics, we see first non-polar dielectrics. So I am taking the example for the non-polar dielectrics. So examples for non-polar dielectrics, take the hydrogen, oxygen and the carbon dioxide. These are the examples for the non-polar dielectrics. So in non-polar dielectrics, the positive charge and the negative charge, they coincide with each other. Positive charge and the negative charge. And here also positive charge and negative charge. Also positive charge and negative charge. They coincide with each other. And here that there is no electric field. In the absence of an electric field, means that here the electric field is 0. Means that in the absence of electric field, external electric field, the positive charge and the negative charge in non-polar molecules, they coincide with each other. Then what about the dipole moment? So and in case of non-polar dielectrics, dipole moment is 0. We know that dipole moment at two equal and unlike charges separated by a small distance is the dipole, and the dipole moment is the product of charge and the distance between the two charges, that we call the dipole moment. So as we know, the dipole moment is P is equals to Q into 2A or 2L is the dipole moment. And here there is no distance between the two charges, positive charge and negative charge both coincides. So it means that there is no distance between equal and unlike charges. Then this length is 0, distance between the two charges is 0, then the dipole moment is 0. So the non-polar dielectrics have no dipole moment. That is also one of the important points. In the absence of electric field. Suppose if you supply the electric field to the non-polar dielectrics, then what happens? So if you take the non-polar dielectric substance, and that non-polar dielectric substance is subjected to the electric field. And when we apply the electric field, that external electric field E, what happens to the positive charge and negative charge? Due to the influence of the electric field, it displaces. Okay, so it means that the negative charge and this positive charge and this will be displaces, and it forms a dipole. The negative charge and the positive charge, and the negative charge, positive charge, negative charge and positive charge. Mean that it displaces due to the influence of electric field, and it forms a dipole. And we know the dipole moment is that Q into 2A. Then see here that electric field, external electric field. We know electric field direction is from positive to the negative. And here there is positive charge and the negative charge. The positive charge and here the negative charge. Then they form a dipole, and remaining here the left side of the non-polar dielectric is that negative charge, and the positive side, it means the right side of the non-polar dielectric substance is the positive. So then this will be terminate, this positive charge and negative charge, positive charge and negative charge will be terminate, and the left end of the non-polar dielectric substance is the negative charge, and the right end of the non-polar dielectric substance is the positive charge. Then we know that electric field direction is in positive to the negative. So positive to negative, and this is the induced electric field. So the original external electric field is from left to right, and the induced electric field is from right to left. It means that they won't cancel each other. But in case of conductors, we discussed that when external electric field is subjected to the conductor, there the positive charge and negative charge gets induced. So due to the induced charge, we have the induced electric field. That induced electric field and the original external electric field magnitude wise equal, and the direction is opposite, then they cancel each other. Whereas non-polar dielectric substances, when it is subjected to the electric field, it forms a dipole, and so after forms the dipole, and here this positive and a negative charge can terminate, then one end will be negative, other side will be positive. Then due to that, induced electric field and the net electric field, and if you take the net electric field, is that here I am taking the original electric field, external electric field, and the net electric field is original electric field minus induced electric field. It means that there the electric field is reduced, induced electric field is decreasing in case of the non-polar dielectric substances. When it is subjected to the external electric field, the net electric field is not equals to 0. Here it won't be equals to 0. It is not equals to 0, but the electric field is decreasing. Okay, that is the case of the non-polar dielectric substances. And now come to the polar dielectric substances. So when it comes to the polar dielectric substances, and they have the dipole, they form a dipole, but the difference is they won't be in a particular order, so they will be in random match. So if you take that polar dielectrics, so in polar dielectrics, the positive charge and the negative charge. So if you observe the polar dielectric substance, they forms dipole, but here in the absence of external electric field is 0. In the absence of external electric field, they forms a dipole, because here two equal and unlike charges separated by a small distance, it forms a dipole, and they have dipole moment. So the dipole moment is not equals to 0 in case of polar dielectric substances or polar molecules. And when we apply the electric field to the polar dielectric substances, then what happens? So electric field is not equals to 0. Mean that when it is subjected to the electric field, then they forms in particular arrangement in the direction of electric field. So here that original electric field. This is the original electric field which is supplied to the polar dielectric substances, the positive charge and the negative charge. The positive charge and negative charge. Take this as minus and yes. So when the external field is applied to the polar dielectric substances, they form in a particular order, that is along the direction of the original electric field. Okay, that is in the case of polar dielectrics. And the examples for the polar dielectrics. So examples for the polar dielectrics are water H2O and carbon monoxide and HCl. And these are the examples for the polar dielectric substances. Okay, polar and non-polar dielectrics. So there are two types of dielectrics, non-polar and polar. Examples and the difference between polar and non-polar dielectric substances. Okay, and now that what is polarization? Now we are going to discuss about the polarization. See, when we are taking the dielectric substances and when we apply the electric field to the dielectric substances, and there the charges are separating between inside of the dielectric substance, the positive charge and negative charge both gets cancelled and it terminates, and we know that the negative charge is one side and positive charge is other side. So now we want to know is polarization. So to get the polarization, we supply the electric field to the dielectric substance. Is the electric field, original electric field direction, original electric field direction. So when we supply the electric field, the positive charge and negative charge gets shifted, and here this will be negative side, negative charge, here also negative charge, here also negative charge, and this side will be positive charge. So they will be separate by supplying the electric field. So this process, whatever the process takes place, then electric field is applied to the dielectric substance, that process we call it polarization. Okay, so in that polarization, we know remaining is the induced electric field. Induced electric field is from positive to the negative, that will be decreases. Electric field will be decreases. Or in another way also we can define that polarization is that polarization is directly proportional, and here it is a vector, and polarization vector is directly proportional to the electric field. So when electric field is increases and polarization also will be increases. It is directly proportional. Then P is equals to P is equals to chi suffix E of E, and this is called susceptibility. Proportionality constant or the electric susceptibility, and it is the characteristic of the polarization. Okay, and it has no units. And the susceptibility, if you define the susceptibility from this mathematical formula, that electric susceptibility is equals to the ratio of the polarization to the electric field. So it is the ratio of polarization to the unit electric field is the electric susceptibility. It has no units. Or in other way, the definition for the polarization is that the polarization is equals to the dipole moment per unit value. Dipole moment per unit value is also known as the polarization. Okay, so here when you take the small elements, the volume of the element per unit value, the dipole moment. So the ratio of dipole moment to the value or polarization per unit value is called the here polarization is not a dipole moment, electric dipole moment. Electric dipole moment per unit value is called the polarization. Okay, that is about the polarization. And the next one we have two small concepts in polarization and the dielectrics. We have that dielectric strength and dielectric strength and dielectric breakdown. So what is dielectric strength and what is dielectric breakdown? This we want to know. See, in dielectric substances, you take a molecules, the atoms, so here taking the atom, that nucleus, and having the positive charge. And the electrons is outside of the nucleus and they revolve around the nucleus. But here these electrons move freely, but they won't come out from the substance. Those electrons will not come from the substance because here this force is the positive charge and the negative charge gets attract. And the more influence by the positive charge on the electrons, so that those electrons cannot come out from the substance. Then if you apply the strong electric field to this substance, we are applying a strong electric field. Here in this side, we applied a strong electric field. Here this side is negative charge. Positive charge and the negative charge. So when we apply the strong electric field to this substance, and these electrons may come towards the positive charge, but here compared to this strength of the electric field inside the positive charge, whatever the influence by the positive charge on the electrons are more than external electric field, so that they cannot come out. For example, I am taking the strength of the electric field is 1000 Newton per Coulomb. Newton per Coulomb, or we can represent in terms of kilowatts per millimeter also the electric field. So here we are supplying the 1000 Newton per Coulomb of electric field. And even if you apply 1000 Newton per coulomb, and these electrons are not coming out from the substance. Okay. Now we increase the strength of the electric field. For example, it is 1001 Newton per coulomb. So when we supply the electric field, maximum strength of the electric field, that is 1001 Newton per coulomb, then these electrons can come out from the substance. If you supply 1000 Newton per coulomb and those electrons are not coming out from the substance, then we supply that, it means that we are crossing the strength of the positive charge on the electrons. It is more than the positive charge on the electrons. It means this electric strength is more. That electric field is more than this positive charge on the electrons. So that these electrons are moving towards this positive charge. Here this is positive charge, here positive charge, and these electrons are moving towards this side. Okay, so now these electrons are moving towards this side, and that we call that this here the 1001 Newton per coulomb represents that dielectric breakdown. 1000 Newton per coulomb represents that dielectric strength. Okay, because 1000 Newton per coulomb is the maximum strength of the electrons and the positive charge. And if it cross that, then they are coming out from the substance and it loses their property, that insulating property, and it behaves as an conductor. Okay, so it loses their insulating property and acts as a conductor, that we call dielectric breakdown. Dielectric strength is that maximum electric field strength between the positive charge and the electrons. Okay, that we call the dielectric strength. Okay, these are the two the important concepts, that is dielectric strength and dielectric breakdown. So in case of dielectric breakdown, that insulating, or we can write that dielectric substance, dielectric substance loses its insulating property and it behaves and it acts as a conductor, that we call dielectric breakdown. And here that without dielectric breakdown, that is the maximum field strength between the electrons and the positive charge. Okay, and if you have the air and the glass and paper for the dielectric strength, you take the example of the value. We have the values for the dielectric strength. For air is dielectric strength for the air is 3 kilovolt per millimeter, and the dielectric strength for the paper is 16 kilovolt per millimeter, and for glass, dielectric strength for glass is 30 kilovolt per millimeter. Okay, these are some of the standard values of dielectric strength. So for air it's 3 kilovolt per millimeter, paper 16 per millimeter, glass 30 kilovolt per millimeter. Okay, this is about the dielectrics and polarization. Okay, once I recall that. So dielectrics are two types, and why we call the dielectrics? Because it can allows the electric field, whereas insulators they cannot. And there are two types, polar dielectrics and non-polar dielectrics. In non-polar dielectrics, positive charge and negative charge coincides in the absence of electric field. And the examples for the non-polar dielectrics, hydrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. And when we supply the electric field, when the external electric field acts on the non-polar dielectrics and the charge gets displaced and it forms a dipole. Okay, but in the absence of external electric field, dipole moment is zero. There is no dipole moment. And here in this case, the dipole moment is not equals to zero in the presence of external electric field. Okay, and in case of polar dielectrics, in the absence of electric dipole, they form dipole moment. They form dipole moment. Dipole moment is not equals to zero. They have permanent dipole moment. But when we apply the electric field to the polar dielectric substances, and they will arrange in an order, that is in the direction of the electric field. Okay, so it will be in a particular order in polar dielectric substances. And examples for the polar dielectric substances: water and carbon monoxide and the HCl, hydrogen chloride. These are the examples for the polar dielectric substances. So when we apply the electric field to the substance and they are separating, the negative charge and positive charge is separating, and the induced electric field, and that induced electric field is opposite to the original electric field, and their electric field, net electric field, is not equals to zero in case of dielectrics. Okay, but the electric field will be decreases. But here they can separate the positive charge and the negative charge, and that process we call that polarization, or electric dipole moment per unit volume is also known as the polarization. And then mathematically, polarization is directly proportional to the electric field, and the proportionality constant is also known as electric susceptibility. And we have the dielectric strength and dielectric breakdown. Dielectric strength is the maximum electric field strength of the molecule, and dielectric breakdown is that where the substance loses its insulating property and behaves as a conductor. That we call dielectric breakdown. For that example, we have taken the value. Magnitude is 1000 Newton per Coulomb, here 1001 Newton per Coulomb, and here this represents that dielectric breakdown. Dielectric breakdown, and this 1000 represents that dielectric strength. Okay, so this is the dielectrics and polarization. And now we can discuss some of the applications of the electric potential and the electric field in dielectrics and polarization. Electric potential due to linear charge distribution. Electric potential due to infinite plane sheet of charge. In this we have conducting sheet and non-conducting sheet. Electric potential due to spherical shell. So in this, on the surface of the spherical shell, inside of the spherical shell and outside of the spherical shell. And electric potential due to a solid sphere. So in this case also we have that inside, outside and on the surface of the solid sphere. These we are going to discuss in today's class. And what we discussed in last class, as we know about dielectrics and the polarization. Yesterday I discussed about dielectrics and polarization. That is the fundamental concept of dielectrics and polarization to understand easily of dielectrics and polarization. And in the same topic, dielectrics and polarization, we have some more important points regarding dielectrics and the mathematical expressions of dielectrics and polarization. So yesterday I discussed you that dielectrics are two types, polar and non-polar dielectrics. And today I am going to give one more statement for the dielectrics and the polarization in dielectrics. If you take the substances and the substances do not possess free electrons or less number of electrons in a dielectrics, and they constitute an electric current, and such type of materials we call that dielectrics. In that dielectrics, some of the substances, and we know if you take the atom, and in that atom the central nuclei having the positive charge surrounded by the electrons, and those electrons are tightly bound to the nucleus. They can't move from their position. They strongly bound to the nucleus, and the positive charge of the substance and the negative charge, and they concentrated at particular point in certain substances, and those we call that non-polar dielectric substances. Here I am giving the different notation of non-polar dielectrics. Yesterday what we discussed, and this is also the same, but in different manner, in different ways for the polar and non-polar dielectrics. In non-polar dielectrics, the positive charge and the negative charge, they concentrated at certain point. That is also only in certain materials, and such type of materials we call that non-polar dielectrics. And examples for the non-polar dielectrics: hydrogen, oxygen, and the carbon dioxide. And yesterday we draw the diagram where the positive charge and the negative charge coincide. And one more is that they don't have the electric dipole moment. The dipole moment is zero in case of non-polar dielectrics because there is no distance. That is in the absence of an electric field. In the presence of an electric field, what happens? We know that positive charge gets displaced and it forms a dipole. And the dipole moment, due to the positive charge and the negative charge, we have the dipole moment, and it can create the electric field. And due to the electric field, induced electric field, that will be the original electric field will be decreases, and it forms a dipole in the presence of an electric field. Yesterday we explained about the non-polar dielectrics by taking the diagram and how gets displaced, and the remaining positive charge and negative charge gets cancelled, and the other charges will separate, and inside it means that there the negative charge and the positive charge it moves outside, and that creates the external induced electric field that comes out of the dielectric substance, and that we call that induced electric field. That induced electric field is opposite to the original external field, and it will be decreases. Okay, that we studied in non-polar dielectrics. And in case of the polar dielectrics, so if you see the diagram of polar dielectrics, in the polar dielectrics, initially when you place the dielectric substance without electric field, they have dipole moment. But the dipole moment, that orientation of the dipoles are in random in dielectric substance. So when we keep the dielectric substance between the electric field, for example, I consider the two plates of a conductor. Between the two plates of conductor, I arrange that dielectric substance. So when we place the dielectric substance between the two conductors, the original electric field, we know the direction of the electric field is from positive to the negative charge. And here if you observe the diagram clearly, is all the dipoles in the presence of an electric field. I am speaking about in the presence of electric field, and the alignment of the dipoles will be along the direction of the electric field. And inside the dielectric substance, if you observe here, this is one dipole, here one dipole, and here this one dipole. Here this positive and negative, positive and negative, positive and negative, they cancel each other. So they terminate, and finally we have that negative charge. Here the negative charge and this is the positive charge, and it comes out of the dielectric substance, that is induced electric field. That induced electric field is opposite to the direction of the original external field. So here I am showing this will be the induced electric field. Then what is the net electric field? Net electric field, already explained you that net electric field will be decreases. Okay, but it won't be zero. We studied in case of conductors, electric field inside the conductor is zero, whereas in dielectrics the electric field is not equals to zero but it decreases. Okay, that mathematically I will explain you. We know that the net electric field E is equals to original electric field, and that we call the external electric field, minus induced electric field EI. This will be the net electric field. And also we write that E is equals to E naught by K in terms of dielectric constant. Because the dielectric constant, we know the dielectric constant is the ratio of electric field in medium to the free space. So from that we write that E equals to E naught by K. And potential also, V is equals to V naught by K. Potential and the electric field. And if you substitute in this formula, that will be E naught by K is equals to E naught minus En. Here I want to write the induced electric field. So to write the induced electric field, EI is equal to E naught minus E naught divided by K. So here the common term is that E naught. So E naught of 1 minus 1 minus 1 by K. Okay, this is the induced electric field. So here this induced electric field direction is opposite to the direction of the original electric field, in the direction of the induced electric field. Here K represents the dielectric constant. And the same way in case of the induced charge and the surface charge density also. Here that the surface charge density, we have the conductors, and if you consider the surface charge density, then the surface charge density, in case of surface charge density, is the induced surface charge density, the sigma I is equals to sigma naught of 1 minus 1 by K. 1 minus 1 by K. And in the case of the charge, induced charge, Qi is equals to Q naught of 1 minus 1 by K. So similar. Because here when we take the in terms of the surface charge density, we know E equals to sigma by epsilon naught. That is for the conducting plate sheet. So when we take the conducting plate sheet of electric field, E equals to sigma by epsilon naught, by substituting that we get the induced charge, induced surface charge density, and the induced charge also we get that Q naught of 1 minus 1 by K. Okay, and this represents that induced electric field is decreasing the net electric field. Okay, this is the mathematical notation. And in the dielectrics, we have the polar dielectrics. Here we consider that polar dielectrics. In the polar dielectrics, so when it is placed in the conductors, between the two conductors, and one more also, that important point is the torque experienced by the dielectric substance when it is placed between the two conductors. Okay, Karpa also you can experience. And then we have that induced electric field, and induced charge. Here we know that induced electric field, induced surface charge density, and induced charge. Three we discussed. This notation we use, that induced charge or the bound charge, boundary of the charge or bound charge. And the polarization, we know the polarization as we discussed earlier. Polarization is that the separation of the negative charge and the positive charge inside the dielectric material is called the polarization. Or in other way, we generally have the definitions from the books, that is the dipole moment per unit value. So now I consider one cube, and one more also important point regarding the non-polar dielectrics. They have that symmetrical structure, the non-polar dielectrics, and the polar dielectrics has the unsymmetrical structure. Okay, that is also important point. And now we consider cube, and this cube is placed between the two plates of a conductor, or it's subjected to the electric field. And the charge, if you take the two faces of the cube, and here this will be induced negative charge, and here induced positive charge. Induced negative charge and induced positive charge when it is subjected to an electric field. And the direction, original electric field direction is E naught, and the length of the cube is L. L is the length of the cube, and A is the area. And now we know the dipole moment. What is the dipole moment? To get the polarization, here we want to know the polarization. So in that polarization is dipole moment. Here the polarization is also a vector, and the dipole moment, here this P represents that dipole moment per unit value. Electric dipole moment per unit value is the polarization, or the separation of the negative and positive charge when it is placed in electric field. That is also called polarization. And now we want to write the dipole moment. What is the dipole moment? We know the product of charge and the distance. Then the charge is that Qi, that is the positive charge, induced charge, because the magnitude I am going to take. And the Q into, what is the length, the distance is L, Q into L divided by the value. Value we can write that length into area, so LA, then here L gets cancelled, L into A. So L gets cancelled, then it is equals to Q by A. So Q by A is the polarization. Q by A. And that Q we can write in terms of the surface charge density, as we know that since the surface charge density sigma equals to charge per unit surface area. Surface charge density is that charge per unit surface area. Then the charge Q is equals to surface charge density to the surface area. When we substitute in this formula, then polarization is equals to sigma into A divided by A, and this A gets cancelled. Then what we have got here? The polarization is equals to surface charge density, that is induced surface charge density. So here also the induced surface charge density. Then polarization is numerically equals to, here this expression represents that polarization of dielectrics is numerically equals to induced surface charge density. Okay, this is the very important point. And now that we want to know electric displacement, so by using this we will calculate the electric displacement. Then what is the electric displacement? So electric displacement is that to get the electric displacement when the dielectric substance is subjected to the electric field, as we know that electric field E is equals to, we can take the diagram for electric displacement. Here if we observe that the remaining charge gets cancelled and only the negative charge and the positive charge. And on this surface is that negative surface charge density. Why we have taken negative surface charge density? Because here it is opposite direction. Okay, so it will be in opposite direction, negative side. Left side is the negative side, opposite direction, and this right side will be in the same direction, positive direction. So that we have taken this will be the positive surface charge density and the negative surface charge density. They are induced. Here I am using the suffix is that I represents induced charge. Okay, so induced surface charge density and negative and the positive. Okay, so that will be in opposite direction. At last, when the electric field is applied on the dielectric substance, this will happen. So from that, electric field E is equals to sigma by epsilon naught. As we know that electric field E is equals to sigma by epsilon naught, and this is for the conducting plane sheet. You studied the applications of Gauss law that electric field due to the infinite plane sheet, that is non-conducting sheet, is E equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. For conducting sheet is that sigma by epsilon naught. And here this sigma, we will write that sigma naught minus sigma I divided by epsilon naught, because the total surface charge density is equals to original surface charge density minus induced surface charge density. Then E is equals to sigma naught minus sigma I, here it is equals to the polarization. Numerically the polarization is equals to the induced surface charge density. So in place of sigma I we will write that P, and that is in vector form, that is P bar dot n cap. Here the polarization is along the direction of the normal vector, along the normal. Okay, so here that by using this direction of the polarization, here this normal vector and the polarization will be along the same direction for the right side. Here the polarization and the normal vector will be in opposite direction, so that we have taken their negative surface charge density. So sigma naught minus P bar dot n cap divided by the epsilon naught. Then if you simplify that, you multiply, then E into epsilon naught is equals to sigma naught minus P bar dot n cap. Here that epsilon naught represents that permittivity in free space. E is the electric field. Sigma naught is the original surface charge density of the sheet. P is the polarization and is the unit vector. And now we want to write the vector form, that is E into epsilon naught So here that P bar dot, we want to write that polarization. That polarization P bar dot n cap is equals to sigma naught minus E into epsilon naught. E into epsilon naught. And we know that the sigma we write in terms of vector form, we write that sigma naught. So that vector form of the sigma naught is equals to, and here if you take that minus P bar dot n cap, then sigma naught minus E into epsilon naught. Then here that polarization is P bar dot n cap, P bar dot n cap. So here we write that the original P bar dot n cap plus E bar. This also we write that vector notation. So E bar dot n cap into epsilon naught is equals to sigma naught. Or here only we can write the step instead of this one more step. We can reduce the step. This P bar dot n bar plus E bar dot n cap into epsilon naught is equals to sigma. Then here what is the common term unit vector? That is P bar plus E bar epsilon naught into n cap is equals to sigma. Okay, so here this sigma naught is the original surface charge density, and sigma naught is equals to d bar into n cap. So here what is d bar? D bar is that electric displacement. Electric displacement. So that electric displacement d bar is equals to P bar polarization plus E electric field and the permittivity in a free space. Okay, this represents the displacement vector. So this is the electric displacement. So electric displacement, dielectrics and the polarization. And we have the important points for the dielectrics and the polarization. They are, the first point is that the first point of the dielectrics and the polarization. If you take that electric field, so for the vacuum, so in vacuum, for vacuum we take that electric field. For vacuum, electric field for vacuum in dielectrics, particularly in dielectrics, for vacuum we will take that electric field E, and the surface charge density is that sigma. That is the original surface charge density is sigma or sigma naught we use. If it is in a medium, so when it is in a medium, that electric field is taken by the displacement vector, that is D. In case of medium, displacement, electric displacement can be taken in place of electric field. This is the first important point. If it is the vacuum, we choose the electric field and the surface charge density. If it is in a medium, we take as the displacement vector. The displacement vector is that B bar dot E bar into epsilon naught. And the second one is that, the second important point, the direction of the electric field and the polarization vector and the displacement, electric displacement, they are parallel. They are parallel. And next third one is, we know that the displacement, here we got that original surface charge density sigma naught is equals to d, displacement vector. So by using that, d is equals to, we write that sigma original surface charge density, then implies d is equals to, we write that sigma into epsilon divided by epsilon, because we multiplied with epsilon, then both gets cancelled, there is no change. Then it is equals to, d is equals to sigma epsilon divided by epsilon, then sigma we write that sigma naught by k epsilon, and here also we write that epsilon, or else sigma by epsilon into in terms of the electric field, in terms of electric field we write it. So sigma by epsilon is that E into epsilon, we write that epsilon naught into K by using that dielectric constant, that K is equals to permittivity in a medium by the permittivity in free space. So permittivity in a medium, we write that epsilon naught into K. So then D is equals to E epsilon naught K. And by simplifying that, by substituting here the displacement vector, that is, as we know that displacement vector is P plus E epsilon naught is equals to E into epsilon naught K. Then if you send this other side, then here you tell me that P is equals to E epsilon naught is the common term. So we are sending this side, it becomes minus. Then we get that K minus 1. So E epsilon naught is on this side, E epsilon naught is the common term. Then K minus 1. Then P, as we know that polarization is that dipole moment per unit value, or in terms of the susceptibility. In terms of susceptibility is that So now if you see the equation, their polarization P is equals to polarization vector P is equals to E epsilon naught of K minus 1. Then since polarization is directly proportional to the electric field, that is in a linear polar dielectrics. In case of linear polar dielectrics, the polarization is directly proportional to the electric field. then polarization vector P is equals to the chi E represents that proportionality constant or the electric susceptibility, and it is the characteristic of the polarization or the dielectric substances into E bar. So from here that in place of P there we write that here P we write that Xi E or chi E is equals to electric field epsilon naught of K minus 1. So here the electric field E gets cancelled. Okay, then it is equals to epsilon naught of K minus 1. Okay, and this is the relation between electric susceptibility, permittivity of free space, and the dielectric constant. Okay, this will be these three are the important points regarding dielectrics and the polarization. Once again, I repeat that these points. And here we derive the displacement vector is V plus E epsilon naught. The first point is, if it is the vacuum, then we take the electric field. If it is in a medium, we in place of E we take the electric displacement. And electric displacement, polarization vector, here polarization is also a vector. Polarization vector and the displacement, they are in parallel. And as we know that original surface charge density sigma is equals to T, that by using that notation here sigma into epsilon by epsilon, here we multiply with epsilon numerator and denominator. And since we know that here the epsilon, we know K is equals to epsilon divided by epsilon naught, then epsilon we can write that epsilon naught into K. Okay, that I substituted here. And one more is that sigma by epsilon is nothing but electric field. Here E equals to sigma by epsilon naught. Here you see the formula, E equals to sigma by epsilon naught. So in place of sigma by epsilon, we write that E, and epsilon in place of epsilon is that epsilon naught K. Then by simplifying that, we got the susceptibility, relation between electric susceptibility, permittivity in free space, dielectric constant. Okay, this is about the dielectrics and polarization. These are some of the important points of what we did discuss in yesterday's class. Okay, and the next one is that the applications, and these are the important for the entrance exams, competitive part. And this is also for the competitive part, and what we discussed yesterday, that is the theory. In theory we use the dielectrics and the polarization, dielectric breakdown, dielectric strength, they are important, and electrostatics of conductors, that will be important for the theory part. And for competitive, when we come to the competitive, these mathematical formulas and how you got the expressions, they are important. Okay, so the next topic we'll see next class.